رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على حبيبنا وسيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما والحقنا بعبادك الصالحين. أما بعد، يروي الإمامان البخاري ومسلم كل في صحيحه بسند صحيح في الحديث المتفق على صحته عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله تعالى عنه وارضاه قال: دخل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Today's hadith is narrated in both collections of Imam Bukhari and Muslim with an authentic chain of narration. It's an agreed upon hadith. It's one of the highest level of authenticity. And narrated by Anas bin Malik, and he says the Prophet ﷺ entered the masjid. دخل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. This narration doesn't have the word the masjid, but in a different narration he entered the masjid Nabawi. دخل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فوجد فإذا حبل ممدود بين ساريتين. He entered the masjid and he noticed there's a rope or a line tied between two pillars of the masjid. You know, the Masjid Nabawi had pillars, and there's a line that's tied at a certain level. قال ما هذا? He said, what is this? Like it was strange to him. He didn't know what it was. قالوا هذا حبل لزينب إذا فترت تعلقت. This is, they said, the people who were there, they said this is a rope or the line for Zainab bin Jahsh, his wife, one of our mothers. Every time when she prays at night, if she gets tired, she would just hang on to the rope and continue praying that way. And the Prophet ﷺ did not really appreciate that. He said, La hulluh. He said, no, this is not the way to do it. Take it down. And then he gave them the advice, and this is basically the punchline of the hadith. He said, لِيُصَلِّ أَحَدُكُمْ نَشَاطَهُ فَإِذَا كَسِلَ فَلْيَقْعُدْ. That you should pray as long as you have the energy and the ability and the concentration and the focus. The minute you start feeling tired and exhausted and you feel this is beyond, then you can either stop or you sit or you change your position. You don't have to overburden yourself, basically. This is what he's trying to say. This hadith, and there's more than one hadith narration that actually speak of this specific idea or a characteristic. Because when the Prophet ﷺ was among them, and they saw the amount of devotion, the amount of commitment he had, especially his close relatives, his family, his wives, when they used to, like Sayyidina Ibn Abbas and Anas bin Malik, when they would sleep over in his bedroom, they would see him pray for like 5, 6, 7 hours the whole night. They witnessed that, and they wanted to imitate him. They wanted to be like him. So part of this, they understood that you just keep going until you basically, pass out. But the Prophet ﷺ corrected this idea, because in Islam there's no rahabaniyah, there's no monkhood. So the notion or the idea of moderation is always there. So he said, no, you're not supposed to overburden yourself. You pray, and then you as long as you have the concentration, you have the ability to, and once you feel you're tired, then you just take sleep, you go and get some rest. And the Prophet ﷺ, over and over, he would give them this advice. And there's multiple, I don't want to mention other hadith, but there's multiple hadith where he does that. And he tells them that. Because the idea of لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not assign a task or an obligation to you unless you can handle it, right? This is one way to understand this ayah. That as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned it, then you do it until you feel beyond that it becomes an overburden. And that's true for everything, for all acts of worship. Even in of course we're not talking about we're not talking about the obligatory prayers. These you have to get them done, right? But sometimes even in for instance in Siyam, if you reach the level of exhaustion, extreme thirst, a lot of scholars say you have to break your fast because now you're just hurting yourself, right? There are certain circumstances. Some people are weaker than others. The weather could be hotter or colder, etc., etc. There's different circumstances. The minute it becomes an overburden, then you have to stop there. And the reason why I remember this hadith is because we last week that we had this storm, and one of the brothers mentioned that in some masajid they know at Salat al-Maghrib they would pray Maghrib and Isha and then go home, and that's it. It's just to get the ajr of Jama'ah. And yes, I'm not against that, because there are some scholars who we just don't practice it here in this masjid, but some scholars, they're okay with that. But you have to keep in mind one thing. In my mind, as I was talking, I thought of this, that if you have the habit of attending for Salat al-Isha every night, and we see you here, we know that you're here, but then there's that one night when there's snow, or you're tired, or it's dangerous, or it's windy, or it's raining, it's okay to just say, you know what, I'm not going to subject myself to this. I'll just pray tonight at home. It's okay to do that, as long as you have the habit, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands this, that you have the intention to do that. So the minute it becomes you should not be over. Now, one might say, well, listen, we actually have the opposite problem. If anything, we don't overdo it, we underdo it, right? One might say, and it's true. Chances are, if you're sitting here, you're probably not underdoing it. Chances are, I know there are people out there that we need to reach out to them and get them on board. But it helps, because I see this a lot, especially with the younger generation, where they want to do it. It's there's the intention, the right intentions there. They want to do it to the best, to the maximum. And I've seen this, especially in Hajj. They want to go and do everything the perfect way, which is the exact opposite of what the Prophet ﷺ taught. He made Hajj the easiest act of worship, by far. Whatever they did, they would say, yes, if'al wala haraj, do it. Yes, okay, no problem. Oh, Prophet, I did this instead of that. No problem. Go ahead and do it. He made it so easy. And I see people go there and they do the exact opposite of that. They want to do the exact thing that the Prophet ﷺ did. And at the time, 100,000 people did Hajj with him. Now there's 1.6 million or whatever. There's no way you can do it. It's just impossible, because it's just so crowded. So ibadah should not be an overburden. Yeah, push your limit. Don't be lazy with it. Push your limits a little bit. But the minute you feel that, you know what, maybe I should get some rest, then please do so. I hope this was clear and beneficial. يروي الإمامان البخاري ومسلم كلهم في صحيحه بسند صحيح في الحديث المتفق على صحته عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله تعالى عنه وارضاه قال دخل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فإذا حبل ممدود بين ساريتين قال ما هذا؟ قالوا هذا حبل لزينب إذا فترت تعلقت. قال لا، حلوه ليصلي أحدكم نشاطه فإذا كسل فليقعد. صلى الله سبحانه وتعالى